So we're starting this video out post-infusion. I go in for treatments once a month for multiple sclerosis, and then we usually take a night out on the way home because we're apprentice free. Today I'm coming past a fire tower. Now I spent about best part of a decade fire spotting, and this isn't my tower. This one is about 10 or 15 k's away. A mate of mine, although we haven't spoken for a while, manned this tower. I did do a few shifts on this from time to time. This one got burnt out. This area all through here all got very badly burnt. You can still see from all the trees and stuff they're recovering. That was probably 2 or 3 years ago. There's a kookaburra going past the tower there. This one is about half the height of the tower that I worked on. This one's about 50 foot. And I can already see the windows up here are probably busted in. Somebody's busted in the door again. I don't know why, but people always climb up here and bust doors in. So I'm going to fly around this and have a bit of a look and do a bit of stuff while we're out and about. Now I'm just having a closer look at this tower. The floor is definitely burnt out. I'm not sure if that's been vandals in the years since or if this actually did get burnt, although I do recall seeing aerial photographs where this place was heavily burnt out. I can probably come back a little bit here where we can see the state of the windows up here. This generally happens between seasons too, because we're only up here during the summer months. But yeah, people obviously don't care much for their own safety. But yeah. Not that it matters, somebody has bolt cutted their way into the side of it anyway, and probably done something about the second level. This used to be left unlocked as an observation deck, but I happen to have a drone with me, so I can show you the view without having to actually climb up anything dangerous or do anything that I don't have permission to do anymore because I don't work for the owners of this tower anymore. Let's get the drone up and have a look around. The sun went down very quick after flying the drone, and it's dinner time, so we've emptied all our leftover bits of ration packs here, and we're going through some of the stuff we've got, deciding on how we're going to do dinner. Now normally if my 24-volt alternator worked, we would be using the boiling vessel right about now, but it doesn't, so we're trying to conserve power a little bit. So we pulled out some flameless ration heaters here, and we can get about 2 meals in there. So we've decided that we're going to whack a tomato and bacon, I think, in here. And I found a spag bolognese somewhere in here that will do out of one of the rat packs. This one is a spag bol, and they're very nice. They're like good chunks of meat in them. Quite a good one. We can pack 2 of them in here with a half a cup of water. And it'll boil away for about 10 or 12 minutes and make us a hot meal. And then if I can be bothered, I might get the Hexi stove out or the gas burner and make some hot water, and we'll do some apple pie or chocolate brownie or something. I don't know. In any case, that gives us a meal without us having to go out and get eaten alive by the mozzies, and which are very thick at the moment. Alright, we've got things laid out on a tray. As what is it, Steve 1989 MRE info would talk about. Got to get this FRH open. It's a piece of tape on here you need to keep. See, because they don't work real well without it. So this piece of tape here, hang on to that. Put it somewhere safe. Something you can actually tear them off, but I prefer not to. I prefer to cut them with a decent knife. And how much water does it say to put in? Because I haven't done one of these in a while. It says 120 ml. Not much. Got a little pack like this in here. So I'm going to pack these between each other like that. Put them straight in the bag. Put them in there. Yeah, 120 ml is about that. It's a half a cup. Now I'm just recycling the bottle here. This isn't lemon or lime water. It's good old plain clean water. And we'll go and pour into the pack here. Now I like to fold up and leave one corner a little bit open. Stick your piece of tape over here to hold it on. And I'm going to give it a squeeze and a bit of a shake up, just to get the water dispersed around that pack. And now we're going to leave it here and leave it sit and warm up. Alright, a few minutes later, I'm boiling and bubbling away in here. Doing pretty well. Give it a bit of a shake up, because pretty soon it'll be too hot to touch. I just had to open the back door because the monoxide sensor went off. Shut up. I opened the back door. It's a smoke alarm combined monoxide sensor, so clearly these put off a bit of carbon monoxide. They're basically magnesium and iron oxide, iron powder, which turns into oxide, and it's an exothermic reaction. But yeah, now the mozzies are coming in. Alright, we might have a hot meal. Definitely need something to help you pick these out of the bag. These make good hand warmers after they're done too. Yep. There's one meal here, and another meal here. There we go. Put this one off to the side in a spot we'd pre-planned, and can steam away down there. Alright. Good meal. I'm going to eat out of the pouch tonight, because I don't want to make too much of a mess, because we're only here overnight. I don't want to have to go to too much effort. Alright, check out our spag bowl. Oh, good stuff, and it's nice and hot. Alright, we're going to eat. We'll see you later. Well, it's sunrise, and we've got some RAF roulettes overhead, because we're inside their airspace. It's windy this morning, which is going to make filming difficult. At least that cleaning rags have dried off a bit. It's very windy. Now, since the fires came through here, the toilet block burnt down. But luckily, they've built a new one. It's a long drop. Don't drop your phone. But the toilet roll holder's empty, and there's a loose roll here. And since COVID, people steal toilet rolls all the time. I have a set of lock picks with me, so I think I'm going to pick that open and put a roll of toilet paper in it. Well, I got it open, but unfortunately I forgot to bring one of the commercial size rolls with me. And this is just a little bit too big to fit that. So I guess I'm just going to leave it sitting on the handrail like the existing one, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully somebody is respectful, which I think is probably asking a bit much. But anyway, we'll go and lock this back up again. Alright, so also while I'm up here, I'm going to break out my little counter here. I'm going to fire that up with the hand that's not in front of the camera. And I'm going to get a couple little baseline readings up here as well. I'm going to hook it up with the mapping tool and do a bit of a scan on that. And just add that to my datum, because I'm trying to make some comparisons. We've got a few other things to do. I do have to go and pick up my apprentice not too far from now, but we might find a tree or a post that we won't damage. I'm going to test out our winch while we're here, if we're lucky. It might work or it might not, I don't know. But yeah, let's go do some interesting stuff. Alright, so the wind is still quite strong, so I've positioned the ambulance to create some sort of a windbreak here. And our battery volts are about 22.5 volts this morning. So that's down enough that the boiling vessel won't like us. Once you hit 22 volts on that, the boiling vessel shuts down. We need about 15 amps to run that, or 55 if you run the big one in the roof. Solar panels are putting in about 2 amps at the moment because the sun isn't fully up. It's a bit deceptive with the low light levels that this phone camera can handle. And I think the wind is still going to knock us over. Here you go. This could be some challenging filming, and I have to clean my Dixie tin. So we're going to be here for a little bit. Give me a few minutes. Alright. I'm sorry this is not real riveting video like some of my stuff. I don't have the Argo with me. And I'm probably a little bit lethargic, but that's post-treatment for you. But you know, some people seem to be enjoying this content as well. I'll try and do something interesting while I'm out here. But we're going to need to do some morning drinks first. Namely coffee or tea or maybe a hot chocolate. Now I have my little tins out of the Ambo. We bought a big box full of this stuff. It's the same hot chocolate that comes in the ration pack. So we've got about 300 of those. We have a whole bunch of nice jams, and we've got some sweet biscuits and stuff here. So you can tell I did some shopping with the hotel supplies. So we'll let that billy boil, and we'll have a cuppa, and then we'll see what else we can do for interesting content. Alright, I had a bit of a cup of tea, had a bit of a think about it. I'm going to see if I've got some chain oil on board. We might give this winch cable a bit of a spray with some oil, and we might reel it out and back in again. Then the process test if it actually works properly. I know I did with a trailer a couple of months ago, but I haven't tested it since then. I don't want to make sure if it'll work with a decent load. In other words, if it can pull this along in neutral. The other thing we discovered is the tank on this toilet block over here is somewhat low. So it's not as typically low, but we're heading home pretty much straight after this. So we've got a little 10-litre jerry in there. I'm going to fill that up with our onboard water, and anything we have left in these 2 jerrys, we're going to add to this tank. It's already labelled as untreated, unfiltered water, so what we have in our jerrys, which is town water, is not going to be the end of the world. It's only used for washing hands. And it's a long drop dunny, so we're not even flushing it down there. So yeah, we'll add that in a minute. Alright, before when we turned the tap, not much had come out. Now I've actually got it above the outlet level, which is good. There's definitely a bit of water in there now. And yeah, before, normally the bottom ridge on these tanks is left for sediment build-up, and they take the outlet a bit higher up. Yeah, so we'll come up about that much. Just still, it's about 30 litres of water, better than nothing. Yeah, as I said, the outlet's a little bit high up here. But still, it makes up for what we've used. and for the next few people as well. Also helps people stay a bit more hygienic and might help prevent transmissible diseases. Take our ladder back and go find something else to do. Alright, I've had a bit of a look around. I've identified how I want to hitch up the winch. Normally I would go around a tree if I was desperate, but with the gear I've got, that requires me to either hook up a snatch strap or wrap the winch and hook it back onto its own cable, which is not great for the cable and not great for the tree. However, there's all these really nice heavily cemented in posts along here, and I think that is probably a better option, especially considering we're only going to be winching in neutral on flat ground. We won't be putting too much force on there, although I'm pretty sure people, if anybody comes past, they're going to think we're trying to rip a post out. But it is a bit of essential maintenance. We do need to unroll most of the cable from this, and I don't have room to do that at home. So I'm going to get it down to about 1 layer on the winch drum. We're going to put a bit of nice sticky chain oil on there, which I'll show you later, and each layer will give it a bit of a lube up as it goes. Makes a huge difference to performance and longevity of the cable, and also it tells us if the PTO shaft on here is actually going to deal with some actual load, because they do sometimes have slippage. So that will tell me whether or not I need to invest some time into looking after that. And it's always good to test your gear before you need it in anger, because you find out what's broken before it's a showstopper. Alright, let's get going. Helmet cam now with the wind filtered mic. Should be a little bit easier to hear what I'm saying without all the wind noise, which is even with the AI noise removal can be very difficult to get off a camera. Now we've got chain lube. This is the stuff I use on the Argo. Now we need our little cable sling we've got there, and we're going to need a couple of these shackles to get around that post properly. I do need to get a longer sling, like a tree protector. I do have a snatch strap, but it's I think it's a 30-meter long snatch strap. You go a number of laps around the tree to get that right. Alright, go around like this. This could be a bit of a backyard job to get this in here. See if we can finagle it around in a way that works. I was hoping I'd be able to get those two that way, but turn it around that way. It might give us a bit of extra room. Can we go around the post now? Just is also enough. Be able to get our hook around that bit. Alright, let's reel out some cable. Alright, our winch PTO is in neutral, which means we can pull a bit out. Now, I have to remember how to undo this hook. It needs a bit of lube as well. Give us a moment. So, I learned something valuable. I had to get this pry bar out of the toolbox to get the latch released in this, and I had to cover it in chain oil. I'm supposed to push this little lever up here and the whole thing comes out, but you can see from here it started to rust in place, so I may, when I get home, get into this with a wire brush and some other stuff, but for now it's got good sticky chain oil in there, and this is why we do this before we actually need the gear. You always check your gear well ahead before you need it. Okay, dog clutch is in neutral. Let's take it for a run, and it looks like we do need to stack that cable on the drum a little bit better. Let's go for a walk with a winch cable. Keep an eye on that drum. One of the reasons I'm going to oil this as it's reeling back in is it gives me a chance to get the bloody cable, or rather, trying to do two things at once doesn't work here. One of the reasons why I'm winching this up before I oil it is so that the dirt and stuff doesn't stick to the oil. Go down that a little bit. Alright, may need that pry bar again to get it off. This stuff will amalgamate into the chain fairly well, or into the cable. Makes a huge difference to its pulling capacity too when you do stuff like this. Bit of dirt in there. We will have to take all this off and clean it at some point. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Also means it lays down properly on the drum. There we go, we want it to lay down about there. Alright, so we're going to do brakes, handbrake off. We're in neutral. We're in high range, we'll leave it there. In fact, we're going to go low range for the winch, why not? Go slow to start with. Go clutch in, winch cable, winch PTO on. Oh, I've got to put the dog clutch on. That will help, or we're not going anywhere. Alright, so I found my problem. The dog clutch wasn't engaged properly. So we have transfer case in neutral, handbrake off, winch up, 6-wheel drive is off. Put her in first gear and see if we winch anything. Nope. So, turn our PTOs on. See if we get anything now. There we go. Now we should be winching very shortly. Just going very, very slowly. We should winch our cables up. There we go. What we might do is choose third gear low. Watch out. Third gear low. Yeah. That shaft doesn't sound real good. I think my winch drive shaft might need a little bit of work. Go a bit slower now. Cable in. Winch ourselves up a little bit. Alright, so we need to disengage the dog clutch here for a minute and pull a bit of cable out so we can pack it back on the drum properly. And we need to pull it out in a nice straight direction. Okay. Wait. Go. Yep. Here goes second gear. Okay. We're going to be here for a little while, winching cable in. Get this all layered back on the drum nicely. It should start to pick up another layer here. Ideally, I'd like to get this on perfectly, but it's not really a perfect world. There we go. I definitely need to unreel the entire drum one day in a good open spot, and yeah, wait for that dry patch to come around again, and we're going to give it another spray. I'm just sort of laying it out very loosely now because I know I'm going to have to unreel it later anyway. Oh, there's a big lump tangle on that cable coming round. There we go. I missed it and I sprayed it right in the radiator. Good job, dude. Let's not get too distracted here. I'll wait till he comes around again. Give that a little bit of a go. Where's our lump coming around? There's one. That dude. I got cable damage. Alright. We'll come back to the end here so that the winch operator has an idea of how much cable we have. Alright. Now, crucially, I've got 2 fingers here. It's pretty easy to let go of this if there's a problem with it. I'm not hooking my thumb over it. I do not want to get wound into this winch drum. Just a tiny bit more. Just a little bit more. coming in. Stop. Alright, cool. Yep. Go neutral. Yep. Alright, disengage the dog clutch. And we'll pop our clip open now that it's oiled. Click her back on. Alright, we're done. I've got a bit of oil maybe in the radiator there. We'll degrease that when we get home and give that a clean up. Alright, so it is time to leave. We figured out our winch stuff and we worked out some of the things we didn't know, and found some things that were stuck. My winch drive shaft is quite noisy, even though I've greased and oiled it, so I may have a crooked bearing. Fortunately, I know where I can get replacements now. Good old KLR Automotive has been buying up winch shafts from the military, from the auctions, so I'll probably get a new one of them and a set of bearings. But now we're going to head off, and we're going to go slow for a bit. I'm pretty sure I heard some emu last night, so I'll be on the lookout for some emu tracks on the way home. And we're going to take the scenic route out of the bush. So we'll see you when we get home. Well, we made it home safely. There's alarms and beepers going off, so the power's obviously been out. We made it back safe, and I learned a few things about the winch. I'm going to make myself a little label to go above the driver's position to remind me about the sequence of things I need to do. And yes, the dog clutch probably needs some attention on that, as well as learning that I have to put it in 6-wheel drive to engage the PTO actuator. In any case, we're doing pretty well. We'll see you in the next video. This was just something to do on the way home and to try and fill a bit more content until I can think up of something much better to do for the channel. This has all been entirely unscripted and assembled out of B-roll footage, but I hope it was interesting all the same. We'll see you in the next one, and hopefully it's a bit better planned than this one.